Hello, YouTube, BookTube. This is Jeni. It is here in West Michigan. It is a Monday night. It is September the 20th. It is 2:20, not 2. It is 10:29 at night. And yeah, we're coming to the end of September, going into October. And this is I suppose you call a Monday reads, what I've read Monday and what I'll probably be reading the rest of this week, Lord willing. I do have a book coming in the mail on the sufferings of Christ. I think I told you about that. I did get 2 other books. I said I was going to get books in the mail from I ordered from Reformation Heritage Books. And I got those, today is a Monday, I got them I think Friday or Sunday. And this commentary on the Psalms by George Horne. And this was first published in 1771. It's published by Old Paths Publications. As you all know, when you're going through your spiritual life, you read the Psalms. And I have been reading, especially today, Monday Reads. I'm almost finished with volume 1 of Denis and the Carthusians' commentary on the Davidic Psalms, volume 1, Psalms 1 through 25. Translation and introduction by Andrew M. Greenwell. And Denis the Carthusian was a Carthusian monk. He lived from 1402 and 1471. And I love the Carthusians. And this is volume 1. It's a projected 8-volume series. And I'm almost done with, today I had the Book Nook, the library used bookstore. And I read that, and I've been reading, I was reading through Psalm 22, which is, quote, when I was reading through the Gospel of John, and I was into the Passion, the Crucifixion of Christ, you'll find that Psalm 22 is quoted extensively by the Gospel writers. For example, verse 1 of Psalm 22, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou far from helping me? And from the words of my roaring, well, that's quoted. It's one of the 7 sayings of Christ on the cross, just before he said, it is finished. He said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And then you find, also quoted is, you'll find, they parted my garments among them and cast lots upon my vesture. When Christ was nailed to the cross, the soldiers below him, they gambled over his tunic, where it says here his garment. They didn't rip it because they were going to divide it among themselves, but they decided it's more valuable if they had the whole garment. So they cast lots upon my vesture. It says here, well, you see that verse. Anyway, it's a very famous psalm. So I was reading Denis and the Carthusian on Psalm 22. And I'm almost finished with that. And I already have volume 2, which came out, I think it came out this year. It came out, yeah, in 2021. Denis and the Carthusian commentary in the Vedic Psalms, volume 2, Psalms 26 to 50. I started reading this when I got it in the mail, but then I decided, well, the best thing is to start and finish volume 1 before I get into volume 2. So I've been really blessed reading the Psalms. When I got the Reformation commentary series on the Psalms, I read those for a while, and that's why I got this. When I got an email from Reformation Heritage that they had this, which is a very famous commentary on the Psalms. I grabbed it. And then I picked up, this is what I was reading for Monday night. I've been reading, this is a Puritan reprint, The Abuse of God's Grace. The full title is The Abuse of God's Grace Revealed in the Kinds, Causes, Punishments, Symptoms, Cures, Differences, Cautions, and Practical Application proposed as a seasonable check to the wanton libertism of the present age by Nicolas Claget, minister of the Gospel of Bury St. Edmunds, Suffolk. This was first published in 1659. He lived from 1610 to 1663. So I was reading this tonight, really being blessed, very searching, convicting, awakening. Highly recommend it. Abuse of God's Grace. So I was reading that, reading the Psalms, and then I showed you this book, The Christian Asceticism by Anselm Slouch. This was, I got this from a Catholic publisher. I can't pronounce it's press. And I read this today. I read it on the life of prayer, silence, the soldier of Jesus Christ, the ascetic life as an imitation of Jesus Christ. It is a martyrdom. His presence a no less forbidding appearance as a warfare and continuous struggle waged against the demon under the standard of Jesus Christ the King. So I was really blessed by that. And then my wife showed me this book tonight, and I was reading it for devotions. I got it down here to read for devotions. 31 Days Toward Trusting God by Jerry Bridges. It's a little devotional. So if you like little devotionals, something. And then I've been reading, as I said, at night, The Red Count, The Life and Times of Harry Kistler. I'm really enjoying this. I took a break from this, the diary, and I want to catch up in his biography where I am in the diary. I'm really enjoying this. This is by Laird M. Easton, who edited and translated Journey into the Abyss, The Diaries of Count Harry Kistler, 1880 to 1918. So I have volume 2 I plan to read in the future. Berlin in Lights, The Diaries of Harry Kistler, 1918 to 1937, translated and edited by Charles Kistler. So I got that. So I'm reading these, really enjoying this. And what else? Well, I thought I'd show you as you all know, I volunteered at the Book Nook today, and then I volunteered last Friday. Friday I picked up these 2 books. This is Eduardo Verlaire. I can't pronounce his name. He was a French painter and decorator. I have his biography over here. I've had for years his biography. He lived from 1868 to 1940. This is by John Russell. I had this for years, and then this came into the Book Nook, this art book. A bunch of art books came in, and I just grabbed them. He was a painter and a decorator. He decorated people's houses, and he painted, and he was just... let me see. I just really like the book, the presentation of it. So I got this. Can't pronounce. I wish I could pronounce French, Spanish, German, Polish, but I can't. But it's by Gloria Groom, the text. Yeah, I really... So now I have the biography, and then I have the book about his life and his painting and his decoring. And then I picked up this book Friday. This is a history of illuminated manuscripts from the really a nice book, Illuminated Manuscripts. It's really a nice book. It's all about manuscripts, the history of illuminated manuscripts, and it's really a beautiful book. Just all kinds of illustrations of illuminated book manuscripts. So I got this. This is by, the text is by Christopher D. Hamo, History of Illuminated Manuscripts. So yeah, it's really a nice book. So I picked that up Friday. And then today I picked up at the Book Nook. Well, my wife this morning my wife went out for breakfast with her cousin, one of her cousins, and then her cousin likes to go to thrift stores. So after breakfast they went to thrift stores, and my wife picked me up a book, Gandhi, an autobiography, the story of my experiments with truth. I was reading about Gandhi because I was reading about Fernando Pessoa, and he lived in South Africa, in Durham, I think, South Africa, and that's where Gandhi started his law practice. So I was going to read about that here, when Gandhi lived in South Africa, and he was a lawyer, and he represented folks from India who were being, I don't know what the word would be. I don't know when he left South Africa. At first, trying out Toyster's approach to passive non-resistance in South Africa and campaigns. And then, I don't know, I think he came to England. I don't remember. Anyway, my wife picked that up for me. She knows I collect the essays of John McPhee, the founding fish. I didn't have this one in my collection, so she found that for me. So he's a very famous essayist. And then she picked up this biography on George Washington, The Patriarch-George Washington, A New American Nation, by Richard Norton Smith. I already had it, but I had it in paperback. So now I have a hardback. Paperback I'll take to the Book Nook Friday. And then I picked this book up at the Book Nook today, A View of the Vatican. It's like a book that I think you buy at the Vatican when you're like a tourist, but it has all these, photos of what's in the Vatican, all the glorious art. As you all know, I'm into art. It's just a beautiful book. It only cost me, I think, $2, but it's just really nice. It's on the Vatican, A View of the Vatican, so I got that. And then I picked up at the Book Nook this novel. It's called Restoration Heights by Will Medearis. Yeah, I think his name is... I looked on Amazon. This is the only book he put out. And it says, New York was a feeling, a vibe, a rhythm you picked up in your bones. Well, as you know, I'm really into New York, and this is about a character who, he's like a painter, but he's not really selling any paintings. So he hangs up art for rich Manhattan elite people, I don't know, it just looked interesting. It was only $1, so I picked it up. So it's, and this is called Restoration Heights. I showed you a novel. This book looked kind of fun. A bite-sized history of France, gastronomic tales of revolution, war, and enlightenment by Stephane Helnaut and Jeni Mitchell. It's looking at French history and looking at it from the perspective of food. I don't know, it just looks like a trip. So I had to get it. It says here, I don't know, I can't pronounce all these French words, but it looked really interesting. And I collect books on France and I do collect books on history of food, a little books. I have some books, but like, I don't know, it just looked kind of interesting. And then I picked up this. I'm not really into philosophy, but I have a biography on Spinoza, so I picked up this treatise of his, Theologica, a political treatise by Spinoza, translated out of the Latin, unabridged translation by R.H.M. Elwes. So I have some books on Spinoza, the Enlightenment, and I just thought, hey, it's only $1. And I like putting things together. If I have a book by somebody, I'd like to add other books to it. So that's what I'm reading. That's what I got at the Book Nook. And yeah, like I said, I got a book on the sufferings of Christ. I was reading tonight, as far as Monday night reads, The Abuse of God's Grace. And I read on the Psalms lately, and reading The Red Count, The Life and Times of Harry Kistler. And yeah, so that's what I'm reading. I'm doing okay. I got off my antidepressants. Sunday was the last day, so I'm seeing how I go. I do have some Xanax right here, little chips, in case I feel a little anxious. But besides that, I'm just, the Lord's given me grace and strength, and you just take one day at a time, live a life of prayer, stay in the Bible, the Holy Scriptures, and just look to the Lord. So I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you have a good new week. We're already, like I said, coming to the end of September. Nothing really going on in my week. I do have a dentist appointment Wednesday. Other night was Saturday night. I was eating granola and I chipped one of my teeth, cracked on granola. So I have to go to the dentist and have it repaired Wednesday. That's a blessing. You know, you think about it. Sometimes you take, well, some people don't go to the dentist, but I have the same dentist for 30 years. I have the same dentist. And it's really a blessing to have call up and get a dentist appointment. You think how many people in the world don't have dental care. I mean, who don't even have a physician. I have my own physician I've had going over 10 years. I just had a physical. I have medications. I can go down to my pharmacy and get drugs that I need for anxiety or blood pressure or cholesterol. I mean, I'm sitting down here in the lower level. I'm surrounded by books. I can sit here without fear and read the Bible. It just blows my mind how the Lord has been so good when there are so many people in the world. I mean, right now that there are Christians who are being martyred, who are being killed right now, almost all over the world. There are churches being burned, Christians being murdered, martyred, persecution everywhere. But here I'm sitting in the lower level talking to you guys about about the Lord's goodness shown to his people. Even in the midst of suffering and persecution and death, God is sovereign and in control. And he is accomplishing his purpose to gather his people and bring in the new creation and the eternal kingdom. And one day we'll all reign with him and be in heaven and have the eternal crown of righteousness on our heads, standing or bowing before the Lamb of God on the throne of glory, worshiping him with the elect angels and all the redeemed. So once again, I thank you for your comments. Thank you for your subscription. Do pray you're all doing well. You're all in my prayers. And until next time, bye.